Hey guys, this week's podcast features Mike Demmer and Christian Willmott from the Black Market Food Truck. They came down, talked about starting their truck, their catering company, and what they have planned for 2013. Let's get to it.
I saw that you guys had your tasting at Essex just recently.
We had like a little soft launch with the truck.
Okay. Was the truck actually there?
Oh, yeah. We were cooking on it. That was the craziest day of our lives, man. I'll tell you the story now, and we can tell it again on the podcast. But
we're going.
Oh, we're rocking. Hell yeah, man. Anyways, that was the craziest day of our lives. We've had some setbacks with the truck with our fabricator. He's been awesome, and the stuff that he's doing blows our minds. But like just recently, a few days ago, we were thinking we were going to have the truck back because he took it the day after New Year's. He took it back.
Okay.
He released it to us that day, got it all up to code for what we needed to do. So that day, we finished prepping for New Year's early that morning. We went and picked up the truck, drove it to another shop to get our sign mounted on the side.
Wow. Took
it over to Irish Carbonics to get all our propane filled. Then we had to go back to our church, clean the whole truck out because they were still fabricating it recently before, and get it all ready and set for the health inspection, which we had that afternoon, and then we got totally passed, totally approved, and had it over at Essex that night for a soft launch.
That sounds like
and we had to make sure everything worked because we had never even used it.
First time in
the
kitchen.
I was going to say, was that also the first time?
It was insanity, man. It really was.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, we one of the dishes we did was it was a curry chicken souvlaki wrap. Same idea of a Greek souvlaki, but all the Indian flavors and all Indian ingredients.
I'm into that.
Yeah, like the chicken was marinating, and it was a pretty heavy olive oil marinade. Just had our griddle, or not our griddle, our grill, like a charbroil grill installed. First time we ever turned it on, first time we used it. First thing I did was throw a piece of chicken on it. Flames shot to the top of the truck. I started freaking out. I'm like, oh my God, first thing, and I'm going to burn this thing down. But then we remedied that pretty quickly and started learning hot spots on the grills, things like that. Yeah. And it was great. Like the flow of the kitchen, we were just absolutely happy with. We were
because not only are you using this equipment, but you got to figure out like where you guys are going to be in this truck.
It's a tight spot. Yeah, for sure. We worked together for a long time, so to kind of figure that out was a little bit easier because we know how we cook with each other. So it was more or less just, where are we going to put all of this stuff in this truck? Because ours is considerably smaller than some of the other ones.
Yeah, I've seen the pictures. Yeah, it looks a little shorter.
It's a little bit shorter. We have like a minimum height requirement too because we're not tall people and our heads pretty much touch the ceiling. So it's definitely a small spot, but it worked perfectly for us.
Yeah, it was awesome, man. Big food, small truck, whatever. I don't care as long as we can do what we want to do out of it.
Yeah.
And the reception from that night was great. We getting used to the kitchen. We were still under like 3-4 minute ticket times for everything we were doing. The response to like the opening menu that we put out, which will be really similar to the first menu that we run when we're officially on the road publicly. Great response to that. It was awesome. And then we went inside Essex and had some drinks at midnight, and it was great, man. So,
it worked out well.
So that was like kind of like you invited like friends and family, and like people in the know knew about it. Did you have like like random people coming up to the truck?
Sometimes actually there was because the thing is that technically we could have served the public, but it was a private event, and I think that's why Left Bank was so cool with it is that we weren't serving the public. I mean, it was New Year's Eve. Left Bank's huge on New Year's Eve. Mm-hmm. Not that they weren't fully reserved anyhow, but
and also it's a little different.
Exactly. Couple people did come up actually, and we just didn't take money from them. We just gave them what they wanted. Because we had a private party set up with Essex. The turnout was great, probably about 75 people or so. And it was mostly friends and family, a lot of people that are friends with us that had donated to Kickstarter. So it was great to have a soft launch like that, a little less pressure, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
If we screwed something up really bad, not that big of a deal because it was our friends, but nothing like that happened. So it
was a money thing either.
Exactly.
So
it was a good night to start though, I think.
Yeah, it was awesome. It gave us a nice little taste of what we're in for when it comes to working on the truck full time, which is good. More than we could have asked for.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you guys have worked in the culinary world. I saw on your Kickstarter. How early were you guys started in kitchens and restaurants?
Well, we both started basically, I think, developing a love for food at the same place. We worked at a restaurant called Astoria on Elmwood, where Tabri used to be, now the Nickel City Cheese Merchant. But we both worked there. We were one of 3 employees. And the chef and the owner were great guys. They kind of took us under their wing, and when we started to develop a love for food, they kind of showed us the ropes and taught us how to cook some stuff. We kind of branched off from there. We both manage panos. We've gone in other directions from management to kitchen to, pretty much anything you can imagine serving. I still wait tables at Blue Monk, up until we get the truck on the road. So, we've been doing it for a while. I would say we were at Astoria our second year in college. So, it's been a while, going on 10 years now.
Yeah. So. And you guys went to school for non-restaurant related fields, right?
Initially,
originally, yeah. And then we kind of backtracked, I guess, I guess the way that it worked is we were working in restaurants to get our way through college. I was at UB for architecture, and he was at Canisius for criminal justice going into pre-law. And so we were just working in restaurants to get our way through college. When I was younger, I had worked at pizza places and stuff too, but Astoria was like the first real restaurant we worked at. Yeah. Super advantageous in the fact that it was so small of a staff that we pretty much ran the entire front of the house and got to kind of learn how that worked. Yeah. And then, as Christian said, as our love for food started to grow, the Astoria had closed. We ended up getting jobs at Pano's, just waiting tables and stuff, and we graduated with 4-year degrees and just kind of said, we want to keep doing food. So we went to the 2-year culinary program up at Niagara County Community College, which was great. A lot of like fundamentals and stuff like that. Yeah. It was really cool. Like the instructors were the coolest people in the world.
They have a pretty ridiculous setup right now.
Yeah, I mean,
I know.
We went
like
a year out on that, man. We were a year away on that. 2 years maybe.
I saw like pictures and like a tour and like. They have like a mixology department now.
Man, it's insane now. I mean, now I feel super proud to be like, I went there. But it was the thing that's kind of stunk a little bit about that was we knew that was coming. This incredible campus, this incredible school.
Just talking about
first year we were there, they were like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna have it rocking next year," and then they hit all these setbacks. They ended up changing to a different location, and it got pushed back. And we were like, "Well, we're gonna be out of here by the time that's ready to go." But they're really kicking ass there. I mean, it's awesome. It's awesome. And we were actually just on the phone today with the mayor's son up in Niagara Falls is a family friend of Christian's, and we're trying to get a pretty hard push right now on getting a bunch of food trucks to expand up into like Niagara Falls, getting into the city of Niagara Falls and stuff. They really want to work with it. So we had a bunch of phone conversations with them today. So it's kind of fingers crossed. Once we get our feet wet and know what we're doing here, we want to do like a northern push a little bit. So
nice. That would be big because I don't think there's really that option out there.
There's not, no. And I mean, talking to, like I said, the mayor's son, they do festivals and stuff down there, but like they don't really get a lot of the trucks.
The holiday market, I remember there was a couple trucks on that, but that's it. Like, that's the only thing.
And now with Old Fall Street, like you said, with the new campus, they're trying to develop that, and they have some pretty forward-thinking people down in Niagara Falls right now actually trying to push for stuff like that. So we're hoping to work together with them and get some trucks down there, especially over the summer. I mean, they have some big music festivals down there that people up here I don't think really know about. So to try and draw those people down there, if nothing else than for a food truck, it's at least getting them down to the area. And obviously with the falls, I mean, summertime, there's millions of people down there every month. So,
exactly.
It's a good spot.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So you guys went to culinary school, and then how soon after did you guys start Nine Catering?
Let's see.
Or did you guys graduate and kind of contemplate where to go from there? Like, was there thoughts of like a restaurant or any of that stuff?
We've always that was our initial thought, and when you're young and stupid and you think
bed and breakfast we wanted to do.
Yeah, I mean anything
like a real badass bed and breakfast.
We've had ideas, but as you sort of get into that market and have to do things on your own, you realize it's not as easy as it sounds. So we started small. I mean, we started the catering company, and overhead wise, it was doable for us. Yeah. So I would say we started that probably a year after we graduated.
Yeah. I think I actually remember exactly when we decided on it. I had left Pano's. We had graduated from culinary school. Yeah. And I went out to Tandoori's restaurant. I'm not sure if you're familiar. It's up in Amherst.
Yeah, on Transit, right?
Love it, man. Love it.
That was our first Indian restaurant.
They're like a second family to me now. The people there are amazing.
Nice.
And I was managing there for a while, and one of the reasons that I was there was the owner had owned another property right near the Eastern Hills Mall that he was trying to renovate and turn into like this really new age like fusion restaurant.
Okay.
And he wanted me to run that restaurant, and then things started to fall through with that, and he sold the building. And that's when we kind of looked at each other and we were like, okay, I think it's kind of time to just start doing our own thing rather than sitting back and talking about it, because it's so much fun to talk about, but you got to act on it at a certain point. Yeah. And that's when we slowly started getting into doing our own catering side of things, because it left a lot of the creativity open to us. It it left us with I don't know, like a hole that I guess we had been trying to fill with these other jobs and whatnot. So.
Yeah, and I mean, like you said, with the catering, it allowed us to kind of experiment with some of the dishes that we thought would be good, but we needed some response on.
Yeah.
And there really wasn't any pressure to do it. I mean, we had very little invested in it, so we kind of just marketed ourselves a little bit. We ended up getting some business, so we got a great response. So I think from then on, we've kind of thought, all right, how can we take this to the next level, which is why we're here today, obviously.
How long ago roughly was like the start of Nines Catering? Like,
it was about 2 years almost exactly. We started I think we registered for the DBA in like February 2nd or something like that.
February 2011, I guess that would have been. So
2011.
So we did that for 2 years. And the food truck thing just kind of, I mean, not only was it a hot, popular thing that was going on, but we went through a summer this past summer where the Nines had been growing and people started to know about us, and we started getting booked for bigger events. We started getting contracted with some venues in the city and whatnot.
Nice.
And we started doing larger things like weddings and wedding rehearsals. And a lot of the time, most of the time, if we weren't at a venue, we would be at somebody's home. And we went through this past summer, did a couple of weddings for 120 plus people cooking out of these people's kitchens, and we just started racking our brains and looking at each other like, this is absolute insanity. They went great. But it was so much to get into that the food truck thing kind of stemmed from, okay, we need to have our own spot. Do we try and find a prep kitchen, or do we do this food truck thing? We've got a mobile kitchen now. We can also utilize it as a food truck and bring it to catering events too. So now we're actually booking weddings this summer where we're bringing the food truck to it, doing everything right off the food truck.
So you guys are going to continue with the
absolutely.
So, I mean, I think like that's been a pretty successful part for Lloyd and Roaming Buffalo and other places. It definitely helps
we'd like to keep it
supplement
separate. I mean,
the
food truck is its own entity altogether. We want that to be what it is, the black market food truck, high-end sandwiches, sides. The catering, we want to keep that as it is as well, customized, so we can do pretty much anything you're looking for.
Nice.
They obviously will be tied together because we'll be using the truck, but very much separate companies.
Yeah, I guess the black market's sort of like an arm of the Nines Catering Company as it stands. Like our LLC is all under the Nines Catering Company. Black market's rolled in underneath that. So.
I think Joe's Deli does something very similar to that.
Yeah, they do a lot of catering
Buffalo
now
Catering
too.
Company
They do a lot of catering now too, which is awesome. That's like one of our favorite restaurants.
I love Joe. I do love Joe's
I love
Deli.
Joe's Deli. It's fantastic.
It's unbelievable.
I know. They're. If I heard correctly, I think he's looking into buying Off the Wall.
I've heard that as well.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that.
That
Get
would
him a
be
little
amazing.
closer.
Oh
I know.
my God,
I know.
it's so close to us
Not
now.
only would that be amazing because I love their food, but that building has been empty for like 6 years
It
now.
is just such a great spot. I mean,
it's a very expensive spot, though.
Yes, it's also, I believe.
Didn't they cut the price in half on that?
They've reduced it dramatically.
Multiple times, right?
Yeah, and I think it's also tricky because there's like tenants above and like all these other issues.
Yeah, I didn't know if there was even still people living in there.
Yeah,
I mean, there are. Yeah. Well,
that's cool.
Yeah, but I can't wait for it.
It's a very
cool and
spot.
he's an inspiration, I think, for us too, because he's a younger guy. And I've talked to him a lot. Are you
talking about Chris or Joe?
Joe.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think that for what we want to do, he's a really good person to talk to. I mean, he's obviously been successful, and we really like him a lot.
I mean, for catering though, it's got to be kind of tricky to jump into a scene without like a name behind it, like to make a name from start. Like,
it's definitely different than the food truck. People weren't calling us to do a podcast when we started a catering company. It's not quite as trendy, but
it's a hard thing to push for sure. But I think like a lot of the trucks are finding now is that, and this is something we found out 2 years ago, and I think we're benefiting from that. We established the catering company first, and we've got that out there. We've got our feelers out, and we're in a bunch of places as it is. Yeah. And I think as the trucks are seeing now, like a lot of the time, the money can be in the catering because you're not going through that daily grind. You're running one weekend, and if you're doing a wedding, I mean, you could be making more than your entire week of food truck service. So we definitely plan on keeping that catering and just growing with it because, I could, like I said, I could have the truck running all week long and not make as much as I could from doing one event on the weekend for catering.
Yeah.
So, and we have fun with that too because where the truck is going to be a little more gourmet in terms of the sandwiches and stuff like that. We like to take things to an even higher level with the catering as well. Like if they're willing to do that and that's what they want, I mean, I like doing some of that high end stuff sometimes.
Nice.
It gets a little crazy sometimes when you're doing it for 150
for 120 people in a residential kitchen.
It does get really tough, but I mean, challenges like that make you stronger. Like that, you grow from that, and that's one of our biggest philosophies. Is that you learn more from making mistakes, and you learn more from essentially failed restaurants or restaurants that don't run the way they should, because now you can look at it and say, I don't want to do that. I know what not to do now.
Yeah.
That's kind of the biggest thing for us. So.
Yeah. So when you guys decided you want to get into the food truck business, let's say, did you have a couple ideas of what kind of food truck? Because there's like a lot of things that Buffalo are missing in the food truck scene.
Yeah.
And I know one of the main reasons why, I'm excited that you guys are opening one is that more people with culinary experience and education are getting into this. Like, I think that's like the food trucks right now. Like, there's a lot of good ones, but then there's a lot of ones who are like, I didn't get a job as whatever, so I decided. I thought my friend said I made a good whatever. So
sure.
Well, you find that with restaurants too, though,
exactly.
Yes.
You find the guy who got laid off and opened up a pizzeria or something.
Yeah, because his wife likes his chicken patties.
So when I heard that you guys actually had some legit chops and some background, I was very excited. I was like, okay, good. Like, they're gonna make some serious food. Yeah. So what? When you're deciding what the hell you guys are gonna do, did you have a couple options or?
Yeah, I think even still, we've just started this truck, and I think we still have some ideas in our pocket for the future. If Buffalo's nice enough to us to allow us that
for truck number 2.
And I think that's part of what makes us successful and will make us successful is that we're always looking ahead. But for the time being, we had several ideas. I think this one allowed us to still carry the concept over from catering in that we can kind of experiment and do what we want without limiting ourselves to one thing. Obviously we want to focus on the banh mi sandwich because that's our personal sandwich.
It's my faves.
We love it.
If you guys kill it with the banh mi, you will be kings in this city because there is only a couple. Like Nickel City Cheese has a pretty good banh mi. Yeah, I really like it, and then. That's it. Niagara Seafood has one. I'm not a big fan of it.
Yeah.
We tried it. Not too long ago, and we were so excited. Testing. I remember sitting down saying, "I've never been more excited to eat something in the city. Like I just can't wait."
Yeah.
And
I thought it was good.
It was good. It's
all right,
but it wasn't. I guess what we expected out of it.
You go to Toronto and there's dozens that are better than that. That's the only thing that.
I think with the banh mi too, we're going to be experimenting with that. One of our plans is. I guess the only way that we're going to be somewhat pigeonholing ourselves into a certain style is, I guess we're taking more broad categories and kind of doing different interpretations on them on a weekly to bi-weekly basis. Okay. Hand pies and arancini are two things that we're going to be using as a vessel for sides. Okay. We've got a whole bunch of different styles and types of arancini that we're going to do. I think it's an acceptable vessel, and I think people enjoy those.
Yeah, and it's differentiating enough that nobody else is serving that out of a food truck.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Hand pies, which I guess essentially are similar to empanadas, but keeps it broad. We can put whatever I want in it and use whatever toppings or dressings I want on them, and I'm fine. And similar with the banh mi, we're sticking to the traditional standards of what makes a banh mi with the proper bread, the pickling of the vegetables, the bread, cucumbers and stuff. But we're going to change the protein,
That bread is huge, though.
Yeah, and that's huge, I think where we're going to have a big advantage, not only with the banh mi, but with all of our sandwiches. We have a baker that we bake all of our own bread and rolls. So every single morning, we're going to be baking our own rolls.
That's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, but it's worth it. I mean, we're doing sandwiches, so we want to do the sandwiches right.
Yeah, if that's going to be one of your flagship items, then you got to have it.
Yeah, and he's great. I mean, we've had nothing but good things to say about him so far. So
nice.
He's the man. I met him prior to actually just last week. I was working with Pavanelli Cutlery for the past year and a half or so. Okay. Just driving around delivering sharp knives to kitchens, and I met this kid. He's one of the bakers at the Roycroft Inn out in East Aurora.
Oh, okay.
I just saw his rolls one morning. He was baking them, and I was like, these are gorgeous, man. I just kind of got talking to him and told him about the truck. He was excited about it, and he helped us out, the soft opening night on New Year's. Nice. We had fresh naan that he made for us, fresh French baguettes for the banh mi and stuff like that. Yeah. And it was awesome. I think we may tweak the banh mi baguette recipe a little bit. We're going to test it with rice flour so that it kind of puffs it up a little more, makes it a little bit lighter, because the traditional French bread was a little denser than we wanted it to be. But
yes,
we also char the roll. We throw it on the grill. I'm telling you, man, that charred bread takes that sandwich to a different level. It's unreal.
I can't explain to you how excited I am for a really good banh mi sandwich.
I'm excited you're excited, man.
Yeah. We actually had a girl at New Year's Eve who we didn't know. We met her that night, but she lives in Washington, D.C., and she was saying that there's a banh mi market out there where you can pretty much get a banh mi with any type of protein you want.
Yeah.
And she was pretty happy with it. She said it rivaled theirs,
nice.
If not better. So, we were happy about that. That was some good feedback.
Yeah, I mean, that's like the hot sandwich. Like, if you want, like...
We got more in our back pocket that we're going to pull out, though. The Semitas, which is... It's a Spanish-influenced sandwich, but it's kind of gaining steam similar to a banh mi would. It's got something similar to guacamole on it. It's like an avocado crema, and then it's like either a pulled chicken or a pulled pork, but it's got those Spanish spices in it, and it's on like a homemade sesame seeded bun, and it's got pickled onions and stuff on it. That might be your new favorite sandwich in a couple of months. So
I mean, so you guys like want to do a lot of different things, but I mean, sandwiches probably like the staple. Like if you guys are known for something, like is that what you're okay with being known?
I would say so. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind being known for anything we do on the truck. But I think we'll be focusing on that. We want to focus on a gourmet deli.
Yeah. So
needless to say, that lends itself to sandwiches and sides
and other things as well too.
Yeah.
So. I got no qualms with one of our plans that we want to do is start doing more like family dinner packages and stuff where someone can call ahead and just stop and pick up dinner for a family of 4, family of 5, and it's simple enough for us to just do some really badass rice and an awesome homemade jambalaya, serve up some homemade bread with it, and just package it all up for people. I'm not against branching out beyond sandwiches too, but I think you have to have somewhere to start and get accepted a little bit.
Yeah, and especially your learning curve as you get onto the public. So, I mean, as far as like the menu goes, are you going to try to have your staples at the beginning where you know that you're comfortable with these items, or?
No, I mean, we've never really been known for taking the easy way out. So, like I said, I think we'll have the banh mi regularly, but always with a different protein. We're looking to change the menu. I don't want to say completely, but more or less every 2 weeks, depending on what's seasonal, what's fresh.
And we got to see what we can handle too along the process, because right now we're starting with just the two of us. We got to figure out where we're going to be.
Oh, man,
within the next. I know, right?
Well, luckily, I mean, you guys are going to be starting. Obviously, I'm assuming relatively soon, like in the next month or so.
Actually, the 18th.
Yeah. Oh shit.
Yeah. Well. I know, right? Yeah. The 18th is going to be what we're looking at right now is our first service, and what I'm pretty happy about is. Today we kind of finalized our full week schedule that we'll be running on a pretty regular basis between business parks like Roswell, things like that.
Yeah.
So we've been in contact over the past week with a lot of people. We locked all those up today, so we're feeling pretty good about that. But the city is where we're from. The city is a lot of the people that have helped us, and we want to kind of give a little bit of us to them first. So the 18th is a Friday. That's going to be our first night where we're going to be outside of Acropolis and Blue Monk area late night.
Oh, nice.
And then that following night, that Saturday, most likely we're going to be outside of Vera Pizzeria late night as well.
Really?
So do a little late night stuff with the city, and then we'll move out to the suburbs and start serving the people in the suburbs.
That's the place you want to be in front of.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, we've had that in the works for a long time. We catered the Vera holiday party for their employees last year and got to know Cam and his wife Jess well. We know a lot of the people that work there, and we're doing it again this coming Sunday as their holiday party as well. And we've had it planned for a while. He kind of said to us, like, when you guys have the truck on the road, I want you guys here late night. So
that's awesome.
We're jumping all over that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
and I think our concepts go well together too.
Yeah, for sure.
A little bit from a different time, so to speak.
Maybe.
They're from the past. Our truck looks like it's a little bit from the past.
A little bit.
Kind of.
Yeah. I mean, it is definitely from the past, but
I think Cam and Jess both sat on that couch as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we had them here
They're awesome,
last year, and John Carroll as well. He
did
a separate two-parter because he just went all out for
that
2
he's
hours.
An interesting guy, man.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not surprised that it took him a while.
Super knowledgeable.
Yeah.
He's awesome. I love him.
But that's awesome. Well, so now that I know that, I guess we'll put this up Tuesday right before. So
that'd be great.
Spread the word for
that'd be absolutely wonderful.
Yeah. So speaking of the truck, how did you guys come across this truck? Because it's I All right. So a lot of the food trucks that are out there right now, they're mostly bought. Like, I know there's like 4 from like Miami, some Miami truck company.
Yeah.
And I know Chris Taylor at Rolling Buffalo, he helps connect people, let's say.
Sure.
But then you guys came out with this truck that looks straight up different than every other truck that's out there.
Yeah,
it definitely wasn't intended to be a food truck.
Long time ago it wasn't anyways.
We basically sat down one day and said we want a mobile kitchen for catering and, something that we could use as a food truck. So we started looking in the area just at old step vans, empty step vans, which is essentially what all the other ones are.
Yeah.
And we quickly realized that to get an empty one and have it completely fabricated would be...
It's ridiculous.
A little bit out of our price range.
$2.
Yeah. So we ended up looking on Craigslist. We found some trucks, but nothing that really seemed promising. And then we ended up kind of expanding our search. We found this truck out in Albany.
Nice.
Actually, Utica, but...
Near Albany.
Yeah, near Albany. It doesn't really matter. It's still far away.
Area.
Yeah. So we...
way more trees than inner city Albany, I'll tell you that much.
We contacted this guy, and he was looking to get rid of it. He had already been using it as sort of a food truck. It was like a hot dog and ice cream truck.
Okay.
His plans didn't really work out for it, but long story short, he built this whole thing himself. He was kind of this hoarder savant, I like to describe him as. Like, he had everything you could ever imagine in his garage.
And somebody who do anything.
Shit piled up to the ceilings, but he knew where everything was, and he could build and fix it.
Basically like a guy who would be on American Pickers or something like that.
Yeah.
And beyond that, like, this dude was raising wild boar in his backyard. He also bred pit bulls, and he had like 15 pit bulls. This place was absolute insanity.
That's awesome.
But he was moving to Texas, so we needed to unload it. And we went down and looked at it. And it had been sitting at his house for like 3 years since the last time he used it. So we didn't really even know if it drove.
Yeah.
It had been sitting in a garage for like 40 years before that. Basically, it was an old fire company truck. So
Okay.
Yeah.
it was like a utility vehicle. Yeah, hence the siren.
Hence the siren.
So, we ended up taking it off his hands. We took it to a shop out in Utica that worked on like larger farm equipment and stuff because we needed some mechanical work done. We wanted it checked out before we drove it home, 5 hours.
Yeah, and mind you, this is like a month and a half into finding the truck, going out there twice. It's a 5-hour drive one way just to see it, and then finally purchasing it, getting it sent over to this shop. Probably a month and a half worth of dealings just to get it to that point.
Yeah. And so we took it to the shop, and it sat there for probably a month. And we couldn't get a hold of this guy. So we just went and took it. Like one day on a day that they were open, we just pulled up, and all these guys are staring at us, and we're just like, well, this is ours, and you're not doing anything with it. So we started it up and drove it home. And
you drove it home from Albany?
Yeah, we made it home.
Fortunately, we made it. We hadn't had it checked out at all, but we made it. We got the temporary inspection so we could get it back.
Yeah.
That was the longest day. It was like a 15-hour day because we had to drive 35 miles an hour back in the truck. Like, it hadn't been touched or moved in like 3 years. We're nervous the thing was going to fall apart by the time we got it back. So,
but it made it, and considering how old it is, it's only got like 14,000 miles.
Yeah. So what year was this?
It's a 1968. So
she's a beast.
I mean, you guys are definitely gonna have the truck with the most character.
I think so.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely the oldest one. There's no question
God,
about that.
Yeah, I don't think
and it does look different. I think with the sign that we have on it, people are going to see that and be pretty impressed. We got this handcrafted wooden sign that our buddy did over at Innovision.
Nice.
I got a picture of it.
So
on here.
that's basically the story of how we got the truck, and it was definitely a lot faster process than I think we thought.
Yeah.
Initially going into it, we figured we'd probably be finding the truck like now and kind of planning on getting going when the weather broke, but we couldn't pass it up. I mean, it was a steal. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
You've
already got this is the sign that we ended up getting mounted like day of our first service.
You'll have to send me that. I'll include it in the show.
Yeah, absolutely. So
that's awesome. So I mean, is there any nervousness do you guys have about the truck? Because I mean, so just even using Lloyd as a reference point, they ran a Kickstarter, bought a big ass brand new truck, and that thing has had some issues like the first 2 months. Like, that kind of stuff. Like, where are you at all?
That first night, man, I thought the whole thing was gonna blow up. I didn't know what was gonna happen. I was like on my toes, ready to jump out that window if I had to.
Yeah. I think there's always that nervousness just because now it's ours and we don't want anything to happen to it.
It's
like
my
we got the paint
responsibility
job
now.
done and the first nick we got on it, we were like, oh my god, this thing's ruined already. We got to take it back. But no, I mean, I think I think it's a pretty sound truck mechanically. The guy that's been working on it is absolutely amazing.
He's the guy that fixed Lloyd's truck after the fire.
Yeah. So he's got some
He's unreal, man.
Yeah.
He actually builds food trucks for people out of state. He just did one for somebody, I think, in Dallas it was, or something like that.
Yeah, one of the setbacks that we ran into this past week was we were hoping to have the truck back by now. He took it last week, Wednesday, after our New Year's thing, but he was building a food kiosk for the Dallas airport, ran into shipping issues, and had to load it up and drive it all the way to Dallas. So he called us and he was like, listen, I'm going to be out of town for like another 4 or 5 days. So we pushed things back a little bit, and that's why we decided the 18th will probably be our first actual service here in the city.
Nice. But yeah, it's going to be awesome to see on the road. I mean, that thing looks sweet.
Yeah.
I think it's going to surprise a lot of people because where it may be... We've talked a lot about over the process with the Kickstarter finishing in terms of how updated should we keep people in terms of the visuals of the truck.
Yeah.
Because it's further away from a 180. I don't even know how to explain how different people are going to realize it is from seeing that yellow and white rusty truck to where it is now. And I wanted to keep that. I want to hold on to that as long as I can. So I really, really hope that people are surprised. And I mean, we're going to be super welcoming with it because we're proud of it.
Yeah.
Keeping the back doors open, making sure that people can look in as much as they want to, check out what it is that we're working with.
And especially since it's going to be just the two of you guys. I mean, they connect the faces with the truck.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But we actually, on New Year's, we had the kid that did our Kickstarter video on the truck, and he was like speechless at how much different it already was, and it wasn't even done. So
yeah, and we still have a little bit left to do. So
that's awesome.
But yeah, I'm really excited about it, man.
That's so great.
Well, you got to come check us out that first night. And,
I'll be there. Don't worry. Yeah.
Sandwiches.
That's my job. That's my job is to go to these places the first night. So I'll be there.
Yeah.
So I mean, do you have like an idea of how often you guys want to be out? Like, you guys going to try to do like every weekday lunch and weekend nights? Like, what
that's exactly it.
We have our tentative schedule set up. I would say 75% of it's set.
Okay.
But as of right now, we're out Friday and Saturday, Monday late night, and then every day during the week for lunch.
We get off Sundays, which will be nice.
Yeah, I mean,
actually, I'll be prepping on Sundays for Monday, probably.
Yeah, not to mention mixed in catering. And,
yeah.
I mean, that we actually sat down today because today was a day where we had gotten a lot of contact back from the places that we were contacting to try and get the food truck there during the day. So today was the day where we kind of loosely finalized what our weekly schedule is going to be. And I looked at him and I was like, listen, we can't forget. We got to cater this Sunday. We got to cater next Saturday. We got to cater then. And he was like, yeah, I know. We got to keep this all straight now. So, but again, in the same respect, neither of us are going to really be working our full-time jobs anymore. So, like, this is my full-time now.
Oh, yeah.
For the past couple years, I've also been working a 40 to 50-hour daytime job while doing all the other crap on top of it. So, where I think it's going to get harder in the aspect that it's all on me now, kind of like taking an online course. You can do it as much as you want. In the same respect, I think it's maybe going to get a little easier because we have just this to focus on.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think when I talked to Pete and Chris, like they said the same thing. I think for a while Chris was trying to do two things at once, and once he finally could commit full time, it was a lot easier.
Yeah.
I mean, they're also just crazy.
We still got our fingers crossed that we can commit full time and actually pay ourselves. That's the scariest thing.
That's the trick, really. In the end, is being able to stay afloat.
Yeah.
But I think we're starting at a good time. It's
it's
not busy. We're going to be able to kind of cut our teeth in the slower season where we can see how service goes, really perfect things, so that when the weather breaks and we hopefully have lines, we can streamline things and really get some stuff out quickly.
I figured this was somewhat planned to have it in the colder season.
Yeah, sure. We can say
let's go with that. It was planned. How about that? That sounds better. Planned.
Well, you don't want like your first weekend to be like at the
Taste of Buffalo.
Taste of Buffalo.
No.
True. I mean, I think in hindsight, that's a really good way to look at it, and we've kind of accepted it at this point. The biggest problem that you run into, though, is like we went and got our permit from the city a couple days ago, and we were grateful in the fact that we only had to pay $500. They didn't make us pay the full $1,000. We only had to pay $500 because it was past the mid-year. But we got our tag today, and it says right down there, expires April 1st. So on April 1st, we're going to be paying for that all over again.
Yeah, well, hopefully, fingers crossed, that lowers a little bit.
That'd be nice. But, better to be on the road for those few months and hopefully be able to make enough money that won't be an issue for us. So,
Yeah. That's good. The number are you guys?
We got 11.
Nice. There's 11 of them out there. Damn.
Yeah, I think like what we were talking about earlier with those people that you said kind of open trucks because they didn't succeed somewhere else.
Yeah.
I think like the restaurants, those will kind of weed themselves out.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are at the benefit right now where food truck, the words food truck, people are excited. Like, I think a lot of places, they could serve mediocre food, but because it's a food truck.
Sure.
So, I mean, you guys have the benefit that you guys are going to get the buzz. And,
sure.
Hopefully, fingers crossed that you guys, have awesome food as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But, no, I think that you guys are still in that early stages where people are just going to be freaking out because there's a new food truck.
Yeah, I mean, we've benefited, I think, more than we really ever thought by just when we're starting as well, because these other trucks have paved the way, whether or not they're successful or not. I mean, they've all been awesome throughout this process. And I think there's a growing understanding between the trucks that this is a small community right now in Buffalo, and if we hope for it to expand and become more accepted, everyone's got to have their ducks in a row, and we all got to play by the rules and work with each other, especially right now because it's so small. Yeah. So, I mean, the guys from Lloyd's, the guys from Night Slider, nice. Amy's truck, like, they've been awesome. Cheesy Chick, even, like, they've been great and very accepting and very willing to help us out and say, well, we go here. You guys should go give them a call and see if you can jump in on one of the days. Nice. Also open to teaming up and stuff as well, which hopefully in the future you'll see more of, because I think we're all under the understanding that, more trucks, more people. If someone sees one truck and they say, well, this truck serves this and I'm not in the mood for that today, if there's 4 of them, they're still going to walk over there.
Exactly.
So, and it's just a bigger crowd.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man. Super excited for it.
How did the Kickstarter idea come up to you guys? Like,
it might have been your brother that suggested
I think my brother.
Yeah.
My brother, who does all our marketing and all our design work and everything for us. I mean, he's been unbelievable. He is actually graduated from high school with and is good friends with the guy who does all of the marketing and all the design work for Lloyd's, our buddy Nick.
Yeah.
And
Baroni?
Nick Barone. Yeah, they went to high school together. We went to high school with them too. We were just a couple years underneath. But long story short, I think that they had gotten talking. He mentioned to Nick, this is what's going on, and he said, this is what you guys have to do. You got to do something like this if you need that push.
Yeah.
Initially going in, we had it as an option, but we kept it very much on the back burner. We were really trying to get through it without having to need it, just trying to supplement things with catering and stuff like that. But it got to a point where we said, if we do this Kickstarter, if we meet the goal, we can be out there within a month and a half versus waiting the next 3 months, getting more money from catering, putting it into the truck. And we wanted to move quicker, and that's kind of where it went with it. So
Nice.
Yeah.
I mean, was there a little bit of a hesitation because you guys didn't have that name out there yet? I mean, when like Lloyd and Community Beer Works ran theirs, they kind of had like a year.
Sure.
No, I mean, I think that actually might have worked in our favor because they got a little bit of backlash from that. Just because they were operating, people didn't understand why they needed the money. But
a backlash, I still don't understand. But
I agree,
that new truck. I mean, what they asked for and what it actually caused. There's a big
that truck
difference
is not
that.
$15,000.
No, and people need to understand
so far
that.
away.
And it's not like every cent they make is going into a bank account that they're just sitting on. They work just like everybody else.
They have employees. They've got people.
Also,
to pay.
there's those rewards are not free. Like,
you're not.
You're not getting these T-shirts for free.
Exactly, right. And that's another thing as well. I think that. Another thing people don't really understand about Kickstarter that we didn't even know until we had successfully funded ours is that you can't stop it. You have to let it run.
Really?
So any extraneous donations that you get on top of that, you can't end it early once you meet your goal. That was our original goal because we wanted to try and stray from anybody being able to look at it and say, well, they asked for $5,000 and they left it up for another couple of weeks and they got an extra $5,000. It's like we were just going to end it at $5,000. And when we funded it, I went on to do it. And I remember the conversation. I called him and I was like, yo, we can't stop this. And he's like, what do you mean? And I'm like, you can't stop this thing. We have to let it go. So luckily, I think we went a couple $100 over the goal. And I mean, at a certain point, like I said, if it went to $10,000, I didn't have control over that. I would have felt like a dick, but in the same respect, I couldn't do anything.
Wouldn't have mind.
I mean, it would have made things probably a little bit easier. But again, we only wanted to get out of it what we needed.
I mean, it was a very modest amount that you guys.
We didn't want to be a mooch. We didn't want people to think that these guys have this idea and they're looking for everybody else to fund it. We got to where we could and, dropped every dime into it. And then it was like, okay, if you guys help us out with this, we can get it on the road this much quicker and start serving you guys food.
Yeah.
This is the biggest thing
and we actually had some good comments on that on some of the articles that were written up. I think the one in Buffalo Rising, some people said, this is exactly what a Kickstarter video should be.
Yeah.
They're not relying completely on this to get it done, but it's it's going to help them out in the long run. So
yeah, I was stoked, man. I was excited to.
Yeah,
contribute.
I think that went over better than we had. We had nervousness going into it, just exactly what I was talking about. Ended up coming off as like this guy's just trying to mooch money from people and things like that. It's a very sensitive thing. Down to exactly every sentence you say in that video. Like if it just gives that little twinge of this guy kind of seems like he's a little slimy or something, it's like that could ruin everything for you.
I'll say that like there's probably plenty of Kickstarters out there that are completely misguided. That people who just want these stupid things. But Buffalo has such a short history of Kickstarter. I don't think there's even people out there who know to try to capitalize on this thing.
No, and there's other options out there, but I think Kickstarter is one of the most well-known ones. Yeah. And I know somebody that's using that Indiegogo for more of a retail business now. But it doesn't seem to be going as well.
It's not as big of a name.
Right.
The only benefit, I think, is that you don't have to meet your goal. Whatever is donated, you get.
Sure.
Oh, really? I didn't know that, man.
Yeah.
I would have been safer about that had I gone into this knowing that. We probably would have done an Indiegogo, but probably wouldn't have gotten $5,000 that way.
But you're right. I mean, even like when you search for Buffalo Kickstarters on the website, there's like 6 of them.
And so like there's these people who assume all these people are like scamming like their followers, but it's like, dude, there's only been like 10 Kickstarters in Buffalo. Like,
and like you said with that, like the reward tier system that you hand
so
out.
You're not getting nothing.
Sure, absolutely.
No one's twisting your arm to donate either.
Exactly.
I mean, they're asking you, and
it's a double.
And that's tricky too.
I've had arguments with people over me donating to Kickstarters and them not understanding.
Absolutely. That's a tricky thing too with that whole reward tier is that, whatever you're giving out, you got to be smart about what you're giving out, because if someone's donating $500 but the rewards you're giving is $300 out of your pocket, it's like, what's the sense in that? So that was a very tricky thing to go about doing too. But luckily, our good buddy over at Steamroller Press, it's a local T-shirt manufacturing company and printing company and stuff. He used to do band T-shirts for my bands years ago and things like that. Real great dude. He's going to be helping us out with the cost of the shirts. So the donation, you want to try and maximize as much of that as you can with still giving back enough that people feel satisfied with donating it,
So what is for people who are listening who might have donated, what is the estimated timeline for you guys to get the rewards out there?
The T-shirts should be done in the next few days.
Yeah.
So, I mean, realistically, we should have them sent out in the next couple weeks.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Part of the thing you got to wait on, too, is once you finish the Kickstarter, I'm sure you get that survey, and you got to basically build surveys that say, I need your information on what T-shirt sizes you want, things like that. And not everybody, as I'm sure you understand when you have 96 people that donate to you, not everybody takes that seriously and gets back to you. So we had a pretty lengthy process of just waiting to get back on what T-shirt sizes we needed to order. I had to have all those before I could even place the order. So that kind of set us back a little bit. And then we got comfortable with the idea of, I don't want to throw all this stuff out there 2 months before we're on the road. People are going to forget about all of this crap before we're even live. So I think we're going to be timing it good with, first time you come to the truck, if you got one of those free sandwich cards, you're getting a free sandwich from us, Nice. So that could be beneficial to us, I think. So
sure. That's awesome. So I guess we'll wrap it up. Obviously, your goals for this year are to be successful and be on the road and have lines. I mean, is there anything else that you guys are looking to see this year become? Like, do you just want to establish a solid fan base? Do you want to do some crazy shit on the truck? I
want to surprise people.
Yeah, I think we want to change the perception of food trucks in Buffalo. People are excited about it, like you said, and while they kind of demand that attention, I think we want to show them what food trucks really can be. Yeah. We've talked about, there's a couple ones out there that are doing a great job, and we want to do that and more. Yeah. We want to be involved in special events. We're going to be hopefully in front of Blue Monk on Mondays, kind of tying in with their blue collar funk thing. So we want to get involved in anything we can, especially like the beer selection there. Vera, for example, with their cocktails. I mean, we love that stuff. That's what we love to do. Yeah. And we want to tie in with that as much as possible. Yeah. So
late night pop up dinners out in East Aurora, just in a field under the stars.
Don't even joke about pop ups, man.
We're not
It
joking.
needs to happen.
We're all
so
over
bad
it,
in
man. I've
Buffalo.
been planning that for a while. Actually, we were in talks a couple months ago when this whole thing was first kind of getting rolling with Jill from Nickel City Cheese Merchant, and that's one of the things that the two of us really want to try and jump on as much as we can, is doing like some type of really interesting rustic pop-up dinners, maybe in the middle of a field out in East Aurora on a summer night or something.
Or on their beautiful patio.
Or on their beautiful patio.
The beautiful patio. I've been there. Yes,
Unbelievable.
It's very amazing.
So hopefully all good things, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, best of luck to you guys.
Thanks.
I'm very
Thanks,
excited, and I can't wait to try your food on the 18th.
Appreciate it.
Cross my fingers.
Thanks for having us. We'll see you.
Awesome, man.
All right.